asked for this. In fact, you demanded it. You see, according to you, the true modern AK isn't even an AK. Rather, it comes with a swift kick to the Russian nuts, all the way from Israel. And its name is the Galil. Well, look at us, boys.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out under a tree.
Under trees.
A couple kids getting wild out here, you know.
Shooting guns, doing stuff.
Getting Israeli?
Getting Israeli.
We are.
Yeah.
We're doing the damn thing with Israel today.
Israel, huh?
Yeah, I don't
That was very biblical pronunciation.
Yeah, we have Yosef here, you know, and we are talking about guns from Israel today. So here's the deal, guys. We recently did a video at this point, maybe, I don't know, 6 weeks ago on modern AKs. And a very consistent comment that we got inside of that video is, hey, if you want to talk about modern AKs, you guys should look at Galils. So we thought, okay, this comment came up quite a bit, and historically, hey, if there's a lot of interest in a thing, we can pick up on a trend, we will do our best to make that happen. And today, ye shall have it. And not only shall you have one,
You shall have two.
you got two. You got two, everyone. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna talk about these specific guns because both of these are pretty unique, but here's what I'm gonna kind of open with. The Galil world is a rabbit hole. And as I was chatting with the folks from IWI recently, I was like, you know, I'm doing research, I'm understanding all this stuff. I was like, this is a pretty big rabbit hole, isn't it? And he's like, super deep rabbit hole on Galil.
So they agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so just to give you a sense for it. So there are Galils from IMI. There are Galils from IWI. Wait, what? What? Right? Getting crazy already, right?
Yep.
So there's IMI, there's IWI, then there's Galil Aces. Within Galil Ace, there's Gen 1, there's Gen 2. There are versions that are going to take PMags. There are versions that are going to take Rock and Lock mags. There's different calibers.
Jeez.
There's different lengths. So much like the AK rabbit hole, Galil rabbit hole is deep.
So a good comparison then.
Right? And the reason I bring that up is because some Galil fans will wind up watching this and they're going to say, well, you guys missed this one nuance thing, or what, we're going to miss a lot more than just nuance points. But like, I think we're all going to kind of concede at the beginning of this, we're not pretending to be the all-ending SMEs of Galils.
Or anything in life.
Couple of guys shooting Galils, right? So we're talking about more from a shooter's perspective, I think, than a historian's perspective,
Sure.
right? That's going to be kind of where we go with this. But stick around because these are pretty interesting and they're pretty Frankenstein-ish when they come, and it takes a bit of work to get them kind of looking cool and Israeli pimp like this.
And useful.
Yes,
Right.
And so we will go through that. Before we do that, thanks to the boys from Ciguera Gear.
Dude,
You know what I'm
Ciguera,
saying?
best belts on the market. You got your Ciguera on?
I do. It's,
Show me that Ciguera belt.
Can you see that?
There, no,
Cam-
we just see skin.
right here?
It's awkward now.
Blending in.
So Ciguera, we've been wearing their belts. We've done reviews on them. We've been wearing their belts for several years now.
Yeah,
right?
probably a year and a half. or
I
so,
wear the
yeah.
light inner belt and then their battle wagon on top of it when we're out here shooting guns, doing stunts. We have a discount code for you, Jake. What is that?
1911 Syndicate, no spaces, all lowercase.
And what does that save you, Jake?
10%.
There you go. You guys need belts? Ciguera's your guys.
And if you don't wear belts, then you're a freaking psychopath,
Yeah.
and get off this channel.
Yeah.
we try to be nice with the audience, and
I see that.
occasionally, we do our best to be civil around here. All right, let's talk about these specific couple of Galils here. So really, what you've got, at least with the 5.56 one, and you've got the 5.56 one too. It's just not finished yet.
Post office decided to make my package take a detour, so we are here with the 5.45.
USPS doing what they do, doing what they do.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so essentially what this is, it can be tough to, again, navigate the World of Galil because there's the US site, there's the international site.
Sure.
If you go on the US site, you really won't find these. You really have to go to I think it's like iwi.net. Like you got to go to what is the international site. What you will find this as on the IWI site is the Galil Ace 22. Okay, so if you're trying to go, what is the basis, what is the core of this gun? It's a Galil Ace 22. Okay. What that is, well, in the US, so first of all, it's, I don't know if the term limited edition would be right, but limited import would definitely be correct.
Imported less of those than the Stanag AR-15 mag variant.
Right. So limited run, maybe. I don't call it whatever
just
you
limited
want.
import.
Yeah. So these are only available through Dissident Arms, okay?
Okay.
And just be clear, this is not an ad pitch for Dissident or anything, because I don't think where either of us actually got our gun from. But that is who is the actual exclusive, distributor retailer of these is Dissident, and they also are the place you are going to want to go to get a couple of the components that we'll talk about. Of the 5.56, they only brought IWI only imported 1,000 of these into the U.S. There's about, give or take, I don't have the exact number, but about 300 left right now.
Okay.
So not a lot. There's not a high volume of these.
Need to jump on that.
I know, it's a little nerve-wracking,
Yeah,
and I'm finding myself in this boat of going damn it, do I want a second one?
It makes me feel nervous about the SIG stuff.
I know.
Limited import SIG stuff. I feel bad I didn't pick one up. Am I going to feel bad if I miss out on this?
Yeah, it's just but so there's only 1,000 of these. On the 5.45 ones, you know that number?
No.
That they imported?
No.
545.
I was going to say 5.45.
They imported 545.
By the way, this one is serial number 0001.
Oh, no shit. How badass is that? That is the coolest thing ever.
I think it's
Is it on the other side?
I don't even remember what my serial number is.
It's cool.
That's pretty badass.
That's pretty cool.
I wasn't lying.
No, I wasn't. I just wanted to see it.
I'll give you that.
No, so what happened is he offered to, I got a hold of IWI with doing the service rifles montage I've been doing, and he offered to send a 5.45 one, and he meant to tell the lady at the office to send me a Gen 2. She didn't, and she went into the back and just grabbed one, and when I posted a picture, he's like, "Oh, you got a Gen 1." And he's like, "What's the serial number on that gun?" And I was like, 0001. He goes, "Yeah, because we only have 000 and 001 on the shelf, so I knew it had to be one of them." And so I was like, "So you want me to send it back?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Shoot the piss out of it." I'm like, "I like your style.
Cool.
Let's do this."
Let's do that then.
Yeah.
So there's the limited numbers of both of these. And again, I don't know how many are left for 5.45, but I know there's about 300 left for the 5.56, which is this guy. Does come exclusively as a pistol, and that's part of the confusion on IWI's site right now, is with all the changing rules about pistols and SBRs, and that's shit we don't need to litigate in this video, but they had to show a lot of stuff is discontinued because they had to take buffer tubes off and different shit. So the way that this will come is straight up with just nothing. It just basically ends there, and then you got to figure out whatever you're going to do with it.
It has a QD sling slot.
Yeah.
Sling
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
in the back.
yeah. It literally has just a sling attached on the back. These are pretty cool because these come no U.S. parts at all on the gun. It's a straight up import foreign gun.
Cool.
It is pretty cool. You are getting the real deal on this. You're hey, you're getting the straight up Israeli import. The only things that it doesn't have compared to the actual Israeli service weapon version, it's not full auto, obviously. It doesn't come with a bayonet lug, which would typically be, kind of somewhere, right in here comes the bayonet lug. And then, and it doesn't come with the standard side folding adjustable stock that it comes with. You can get that. I think you might even have one of those.
That's one I have on order.
Yeah. So it's you can get them, it just doesn't come with it. Beyond that, again, straight up this is the real deal. This is what you get in the old country. Chambered in 5.56. And I think for a lot of guys who, hey, look, they're intrigued by the notion of AK, but part of the barrier to entry is I got to go get this caliber, especially that now is getting more and more expensive, 7.62 by 39. You go, look, man, here's an answer for you. Here's a 5.56 chamber gun. You don't need new calibers, none of that stuff. Like, you really just need some mags and like you're ready to
Then
rock.
send it.
That was the gun that intrigued me because I started looking at 5.45 ammo with everything that's going on. I mean, 5.45 70 cents a round right now, which is equivalent to like 77 grain 5.56.
Yeah, it's tough.
So 50 cents a round or 70 cents a round. And for a gun that typically 5.45 was one of the cheapest rounds to run.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting all the surplus stuff and all that kind of stuff. Barrel length on both of these, because these two guns, despite being different, they are very, very similar. So the barrel length is actually 13.2 inches, very specific, which in my mind, I think hey, like, that's a really nice do-it-all length.
Yep.
You know, on calibers like this, that's right in that sweet spot.
Yep.
You know, 12.5 to 14.5, you go, yeah, man, we're kind of playing in that nice little zone right there. So anyway, I really like what they did with that. Rock and lock mags on both of these. So if that's confusing at all, because again, I had to kind of brush up on Galil stuff. Rock and lock's just kind of what Galil community wants to call an AK style mag, right? Which is just, hey, you index the mag locks in.
Nice.
So I will say this. This is a noticeable improvement from AKs to me. It is so forgiving. Like, it's tough to like not get this right. AK, especially 7.62 AKs, because that steep angle of the mag, like you really do have to kind of find that lip and really nail the rock.
Get that rock.
You know, but it's like this thing is so forgiving. It's like it's a small weird thing that's been hard for me to describe. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's the same damn thing, but it's better. Like it's just a really good smooth system for rock and lock mags. You know, I don't know. It's
Well, the one thing I see is that with AKs, the receivers haven't changed much since 1947, unless you're getting something like a 102 series or a AK-12. So whereas Galils, I feel, have progressed, especially into the Galil Ace, where they have addressed things over time that might have been issues in the past.
Yep. Well, and one of the nice things about, as mentioned with the 5.56 variant, is as I charge the bolt back, you'll notice last round, hold open, right? So that's a big win. And then so basically the manual of arms would be, okay, cool, you get last round, mag goes out, mag goes in, and then instead of needing to reach over for me as a lefty, actually now I'm, you know, on the AK end of the stick, you know, for a right-handed shooter, instead of needing to actually charge the bolt, there's just a bolt release right there, right? And so, hey, look, manual of arms is very friendly.
Which does not exist on the 5.45.
Nope. The standard capacity on the 5.56 mags is rounds, which is pretty outstanding.
It's awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what the capacity of these are because I never know what the hell's happening in the world these days, but it's just like, hey, just know whatever Galil mags out there you're going to find for 5.56, standard capacity is rounds, which is pretty damn good. You know? So rock and roll kids, have fun with that. Not kids, legally justified aged males or women, or, you know, we're just going to move on.
Yep.
You know?
And continue.
Just kind of move on from that. So the left-handed shooters are going to have a slightly more quirky issues with this that aren't bad. Here's my biggest complaint that immediately got rectified, was the safety. So it's an ambidextrous safety. This side of it for a left-handed shooter is completely unusable. You're never going to be able to, no shot.
Even with your stupid thumbs.
Right,
you
I got
can't get
lanky kind of, people like
Do a thumbs
talk
up for him.
about, well, you know, what's the problem?
Look at his thumb.
Well, no problem. So there's no way you're going to be able to index that side. So you're stuck with this side of the safety. Now this is a good safety, but here's what I've had to do. I started out doing this. Doing this game.
Yeah.
Right. And it's fine. You can get there, but you're constantly having to play this game. So I called IWI and I'm like, yeah, the safety, you know, that'd be about my only complaint. And they're like, check this out. They're like, take this portion of basically like where you would have a callus, you know, and literally just push the safety.
So cool.
And I'm like, why does this work so well?
It works perfect.
It literally works perfect. And you can't miss. Even with gloves today, you're just like, boom.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, it might actually be faster.
Smart safety system.
You're just like, I mean, it's just flawless. So no complaints on that whatsoever. In terms of the action itself, it just feels like a really damn nice AK action.
Yeah, smooth.
Yeah, like none of the, you know, like cheap AK actions where you're just like,
Sure.
Yeah.
No, the milled receiver and everything, the way it fits together is it's a very nice cycling gun.
Very nice. It's very, very nice.
Like if you've shot loose fitting or loose fit beat in AKs versus this, it's a obvious feel difference.
Yes.
Big difference.
There's little things that they've done to clean up, you know, improve upon the AK system. One of them, it'd be very tough to see if we have any B-roll or photos or anything, we'll show you, but So when you take I'm not going to do this on camera because again, just gunsmithing rules, YouTube, who the hell knows how that stuff works on any given day of the week. But when you take the top cover off here, what you would need to do if you were going to either adjust your piston, if you had an adjustable piston, or just clean the gun or whatever, typically putting that back on an AK, it can be a little quirky. Just finding the little index point, you know, and then, you know, smack it down.
Rock it in.
Not a big deal. But you'll see on this, there's this little wedge that's right here. So they cut a little wedge into basically the little gas tube portion of the rail.
A male versus female end on the rail.
Yeah, so they just sync up. Now, so it makes assembly of the gun easier. The other thing, this is more of a theory, but I do think it would at least stand to reason that because of how this kind of wedge system is going to work, this is probably going to hold better zero on IR devices.
Sure.
It's a theory. It's a theory. I haven't tested that.
It's a robust rail then, yeah.
Yeah, but there's just not going to be much play in this because of the way it fits together, which, hey, you know, not always the case on AKs.
Well, I will say, if the internet's good for anything, if there's a problem, it will most likely have been found by this point, and it will be all over Reddit.
Yes.
Fair point.
And I've never heard that complaint, not that I searched for it. It is going to get hot, right? So it is going to be a warm gun. After a few rounds, you're just going to throw a glove on, not a big deal, or get a rail wrap or something if you want to. But if you're going to go, you know, torture test this and send, 500 rounds in 2 hours, like, cool. She's
going to be hot.
She's going to be getting toasted.
Yeah.
So there is that. The trigger is just an AK trigger. It's nothing to write home about. It's completely adequate. It's a military trigger. It's fine.
ALG makes a trigger for it, as well as, I believe, Timney has one coming.
That would be interesting. Huh. I'd be curious on that one. That would be, because Timney makes some nice triggers, so interesting.
The ALG triggers are obviously, nice across the board.
Solid. Fair enough. Okay, so we'll dive into these actual guns in a moment. Before we do that, if you guys want to support the channel at all, probably the best way to do that, just go to 1911syndicate.com. It's always linked below, or you can just type that into like a web browser if you guys have the internet, which I would assume at this, don't most people have the internet?
You would hope so if they're watching this, otherwise I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. But you can do that. The 1911 Syndicate is a real estate business for those of you that don't know. And for those of you that do know and support us and use us as your real estate agents, we appreciate that. Chris is in Arizona, I'm in Utah, but we've got a lot of agents between, Texas and Florida and Vegas. We've helped people in Alaska, believe it or not, which is barely even the US anymore.
I'm helping a guy from your old community go from Va Beach to Montana.
Oh,
yeah. So,
home, probably.
We actually do this stuff. I would recommend maybe sign up for the newsletter. It is a simple way to, one, keep in the loop on some 1911 Syndicate news. That is where we do like product drops, things like that. But also we'll give you some education on a weekly basis. Okay, so let's start kind of getting into some of the kit list of how we did these things, because our guns are actually very similar. They're just different choices on each of the things that are kind of similar. I'll say this, they come and they're certainly, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to put some TLC into this thing. Like,
I was gonna say, both of these guns come with some, if you're an AK or a Galil person, the modernization that went into them can be a little gaudy and obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things on Dissident Arms, on their site, so it's actually really cool. So they offer a few different options on this. Amongst them, again, because they're the ones doing the exclusive deal for the 13 inches, they'll actually convert this to a 16 inch. Yeah, so they'll actually swap a barrel to a 16 inch. If you just want to make it a rifle right out of the gate, they'll do the barrel swap for you.
That's cool.
And they offer a handful of different things between handguards that you can just, like, literally it's like drop down menus. Do you want us to do the handguard? Do you want a K&S piston? Do you want the plastic delete kit? Do you want all this different stuff?
You can just come fully done.
Yeah,
Build it out.
And here's what's cool that I actually thought, again, not a pit, but I talked to Dissident leading into this because I was like, hey, you guys should probably know we're doing this video and you guys are the ones that sell the thing that we're doing the video on. What's cool is, hey, if you add those things on their site, they do the install for you for free.
That's very cool.
So it's just like, hey, you don't need to fuck around with this. It just comes and it's like, it's just ready to go.
That's cool.
That is a really nice thing. I guess maybe we'll just we'll go from stock and we'll just kind of start working our way forward. How about that? So on mine, I've got, you guys probably think I work for Midwest Industries at this point. So this is my third Alpha stock from Midwest now. I really dig these things. It's obviously an AK-oriented stock, even though I've got one on my Six Spear LT as well. But look, they're very cool. You can still side fold these bad boys. And mine does not clear the charging handle. I could have flipped this to the other side. If you want to know the honest truth, I don't care that much. This doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It makes no difference to me. So I was like, screw it, just leave it.
Just leave it.
And if I need to, just take the stock in further, and it's like problem solved. But I've got the Midwest on mine. I've liked it a lot, especially playing around with optic heights and things with the cheek riser. It's nice.
I went with a 1913 in the back to give myself the most options possible. And I was going to run a buffer tube on mine, which would have given me the same issues as yours, just simply due to the thickness. And I had this MCX stock sitting there. And so I was like, well, just so I can get this gun Form 1 and rock and roll and put it on. And honestly, after shooting it like we have, I don't think it's leaving.
It's fine. Yeah, it's totally fine.
Honestly, even, and mine has the stock piston in it with his having an adjustable, which we noticed a difference in. Super controllable, didn't beat up my cheek. Like, and that's kind of the mistake you hear, or not mistake, the complaint you hear with these stocks. So I'm a big fan so far.
Yeah.
And mine does
perfectly clear that charging.
Perfectly clear the charging handle.
I mean, that's just luck.
Made for it,
but
dude.
man, boy, that
there was no
worked out
consideration taken. It wasn't a fit. I literally screwed it on and it happened to do that.
Perfect.
And so
Yeah. Funny.
that is what I'm on.
So
Nice.
when you get these, basically the rear trunnion you want to swap out. There's a little pick rail rear trunnion that you get. It's from K&S, who also makes adjustable pistons. We'll talk about that. But so the way this thing comes, hey, you just need to swap out the end of the receiver there, and then you can attach all your 1913 stuff, and it's a really nice system. And to me, the logical system for
And
this.
they make a bunch of stock options. The stock that I have coming for my 5.56 is the classic style Galil, and it slides in sans 1913. So it is a direct attachment
Nice.
stock.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Very cool. So we'll go internally. So in mine, again, K&S, they make an adjustable piston. They do this for AKs, and it translates over to the Galil. The adjustable piston, so I've got one, you don't.
Yep.
Definitely having mine tuned softens it up.
100%.
And it was definitely noticeable shooting the two guns back to
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
So we're shooting different calibers.
Yes.
But within being both 13 inches, 5.45 and 5.56 being so similar, the difference was noticeable.
Yeah, it
between
was.
a tuned K&S and between a 10-foot ejection pattern and like 20 feet plus.
Yeah. So yeah, it was about twice the ejection on the 5.45 with the standard piston, which is fine. Like that's no problem. If you threw a can on it, you probably got a little bit of like you're gonna beat the shit out of that gun. So definitely, if you're gonna suppress these, which I would like to do, I just want to know how this thing suppresses.
I want to hear how it sounds.
I just want to know.
Mine
what this
is
thing's
going to be suppressed.
Yeah.
It has not been yet.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'd be really interested to see how these do, especially that it's still a length, that it's very manageable and everything. You're just like, I think this could be a really good suppressor post.
Yeah.
I think with cans, people get confused and think that they should put a K can on a shorter gun and a longer can on a longer gun. And you actually get, I feel like 12 and 13 inches is kind of that happy spot for me personally where the shortest I'll go with a K can. So I just think a Huxworks K or a CGS or something that's a K size still keeps it a very compact package while not being overly loud like a 10.5 or an 8.5 would be. I think this is gonna be a good suppressor hose.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So hey, the piston, I think it's a good move. I would say, hey, do it if you're gonna get one of these.
Mine's gonna have one within 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good move. Let's talk about one of the, in my mind, and I think probably yours too, actually I know it is yours because you told me, an absolutely essential upgrade. So this is how your gun comes. So basically what this is, this whole plastic thing here is basically attached to the lower, right? And so what you wind up getting, and you get it from Dissident, it's called a plastic delete kit. And it allows you to get rid of this giant hunk of plastic that's soaking up the bottom of this gun.
Made by K&S.
This is?
No, the plastic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dissident sells it.
Yes.
Well, that's where I bought it from at the very least. But man, K&S really makes a lot of stuff for these, don't they? So the plastic delete kit is mandatory. Mandatory.
Yes.
The magwell on this doesn't add a whole lot.
No.
This, if you want to use the word, I'm sorry, I'm going to use it. It is a vibe. A vibe to have, to be able to see the steel receiver, the milled receiver on it. If you're going to run a Galil, it changes the aesthetic of the gun.
Yeah. And it takes, this doesn't do anything for you. Yeah, just get rid of this. And I think.
And it also allows you to run AR pattern. Grips.
Yeah, I got a, it's a Magpul something.
Yours looks like a BCM.
Yeah, it is a
Is it a
BCM.
BCM? Yeah, I'm totally blanking
This
out.
is a B5.
Yeah. So like there's that when you order the plastic delete kit, you specify which type of grip you want, and that just comes with the plastic delete kit. But that is definitely an essential upgrade. I guess we'll both mention optics at the very least. So I've got the, we've done a full review on this, but it's the Promethean LP1. It's from Lead and Steel.
Yep.
So I actually really thought this was a good optic pick for this gun because these optics are super robust. Like they're brick. But they give you a lot of good shit. I think that it's like a giant window, so these things can be fast as shit. You get a few different reticles. Like there's a lot of good, you guys can go watch the full video if you want the breakdown on that. But it was a beefy optic for a beefy gun, and I was like, I don't know, it just felt like, again, a vibe thing. I was like, I'm feeling the vibe.
Workhorse optic.
Looks good on there.
Yeah. And then what do you got on yours?
So I'm running a Vortex Spark Solar. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a self-proclaimed aim point guy. I just like T1s and T2s. I had a bunch of these sitting around. I was worried when I first put it on that it was going to be a little low, but with running this lower stock, it gave me the cheek weld that I kind of like, and so having no issues with it at all. Aside from possibly having a little bit of, you know, obstruction with my hand running the light.
Sure.
So.
And I couldn't tell. Can you pick up your irons at all through that window still?
No.
Okay, it looked like it was close, but I couldn't quite make it out. But yeah, so a couple different options there. Definitely don't do, this is not the gun to be doing like Unity risers and shit like that. Like you want lower mount.
Maybe like a Scalar Works smaller one, Arasaka.
Yeah,
something.
this is a lower 1/3 is what this mount is. So it's like, hey, I would not go above lower 1/3.
But if you're going to be doing that, I would do a stock similar what to you chose that gives you that.
I can raise it up.
Yeah,
exactly. And then you move to the front of the gun. The front of the gun's definitely like, you'll probably want to mod those out if you get them. Two different handguard options. So on mine, I've got a rail from Midwest Industries. It's, 7-sided M-block thing, so you do have a bunch of options in terms of what you can do with these. Arasaka hand stop. They've got built-in QDs. On this, I would probably recommend adding your own, just mainly because when you look at where those QD slots are, it's right where my hand's trying to get.
Placement is not ideal.
So it's like, hey, I'm glad they're there, but based on where I'm going to attach a sling, I either am going to go all the way forward, which has just never been my jam, or like all the way back. So
the other thing I tell people is, if you're going to trust an aluminum handguard to take a sling, at some point you're going to wallow it out.
Yeah.
So running a backup that you can either replace or that is steel is just the smart decision.
Yep. And then handguard on yours?
So I am running an RS Regulate with a Rail Scales hand stop and Slate Black Industries rail covers. Yep, I really like it. It doesn't give as many options as M-Lock as the one that Jake runs, but I think it's significantly lighter.
It is, yeah.
They really took a lot out of it, and it definitely does give a slimmer look. So
Sure.
Well, I think overall your gun is lighter than mine by a decent margin. I think. I think there's definitely some.
There's
weight
a significantly. I mean, it's not like it's
and
just
also
aluminum,
stock.
but yeah,
But between stock and handguard, because these stocks are beefy and they are fairly heavy. On guns that can be front heavy, like the Sig Spear, that's part of the reason I liked it on that gun, because it was like, hey, it's a very front heavy gun. I actually want to add a counterbalance to the back of that. That was theory that I wound up liking, but it's like, yeah, but I've definitely got a heavier setup. Not to mention I got metal mags, you got polymer mags, so it's like, hey, heavier gun.
Well, and your optic.
And optic, yeah, no doubt.
And then you and I both chose different lights, because the lights ended up being a thing. I had a really hard time with this handguard finding a light solution that I liked.
Yeah. Yep.
And so currently for this video, my light's sitting a little higher than I would like. I'm trying to find a different mount, but I'm running a mod light, the dual fuel PLH V2, and I think you're running something definitely different.
I've got the Arasaka rechargeable, so it's their 18350. I've just got, I don't know, mod button and Surefire tail cap.
You need the Arasaka mount that he has on this, where it sits at the like 3 and then tucks in next to the rail. Yeah.
So I can tell you this, the Arasaka, I bought 2 mounts from Arasaka. I bought an offset, and the offset doesn't work with the handguard just because of the shape and everything.
Okay.
The side one, like the standard, like, inline side one, works, no problem.
So his has an angle on it. These are flat. And so what happened is it pushed the light way off the handguard. Arasaka does make one. He just didn't have any in stock at the time for the video, so
Gotcha.
it's coming.
Yeah.
But it just, when I ran a flat one, the light sat really far off the gun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, there's different ways to do it. Standard muzzle devices are nothing to write home about either way.
Half by
Swap that
28.
out. Yeah, swap it out if you want. Throw a can on. Do whatever you want on that. Mine obviously has had a paint job. So special shout out to those dudes because they're local. We actually met them through our Patreon.
Yeah.
Kill 'em coatings. I'll try to throw up like their IG tag here. I paid for the Cerakote, but I was just like, hey man, you guys did good work, and thanks for that, for whatever that's worth. Price on the base gun winds up being $18.50, which I got to admit in my mind I think is very fair for the quality product that you're getting.
I agree.
Because I think you are getting a pretty kind of go to war type gun, like a robust system that you're going to be able to depend on.
Well, the thing you have to point out too is that we both have Gen 1s. The Gen 2 comes with an M-LOK handguard.
Oh, cool.
And so the Gen 2 Ace is the same price, but doesn't need necessarily as much as the Gen 1s.
It's true. A total, I added it up just for curiosity's sake. So aside from the gun, which again, $18.50 on the guns, my total accessory cost of everything was what did it come out to? $1,700. So it's like, hey, now you don't have to go this nuts on your system, but it's like, hey, if you really want to fully trick these out, yeah, you probably spend $1,500 or so on your kit list.
I just think for being how they feel like a really nicely made AK, for less than what a lot of nicely made AKs are
very much
coming out at, with some things that you don't have to deal with, that you'd have to with an AK, and being a lefty, I think this works out significantly better.
Very friendly for a lefty, for sure. So I'll just kind of give you some thoughts, at least on my end. So I liked this a lot better than I thought I was going to. When we knew you were coming out, we were like, yeah, let's do a Galil video, and then I wound up, having a call with IWI, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna be doing a Galil video, and they're like, oh, we should get you a gun for that, and it all escalated so quickly. Next thing you knew, I had committed to having a Galil show up, and I was like, what have I just done with myself?
When you first got it, you had some apprehension.
I was just like, what the hell do I do? It was just a new system.
Yeah.
Sure.
You just get a new system, and you're like, okay, I have to learn this thing. It's not an AK. It's certainly not an AR. It's AK-esque, but it's also not. And you're just like, okay, cool, this is a new thing. From your perspective, a guy who's a self-proclaimed AR guy, and not an AK guy,
correct,
where does this fall in that spectrum?
Yeah, which is what, we've done plenty of AK videos and talking about that platform, and I just cannot get on board. However, I can't argue the operating system reliability, right? And from talking to you guys, going through this review, shooting it, dude, this might have sold me on an AK-esque type platform that is ultra reliable, that I could see myself getting behind. And I'm not, we can document it here in the video. Obviously, it is going to be, I'm very intrigued with that rifle.
Yeah.
I'd like to pick one up, kit it out, and shoot the piss out of it.
Yeah.
Plus, the biggest sell on that for me is surplus ammo, man. We can run steel case shit.
Yeah.
And it'll run it all day.
Yeah, and if you're like, oh, yeah, but it's got its own mags, you go, okay, cool. What's the mag price on these?
You guys told me they're $19.
The brand new, they're $20-ish.
Yeah.
From IWI, and they make surplus ones. They're all over the place. You don't have some of we have the Sig 550 rifles. You and I both have them.
Good luck, yeah.
First of all, getting them on a secondary market, they're $100+, $60 if you order them ahead of time, and it takes 6 months to 18 months to get.
And it's a plastic mag.
Yeah.
It's just not even a robust mag.
And they're around.
Yeah, the 5. I'd buy 15, have 5 for training, put 10 in the apocalypse.
That's what I'm saying,
dude.
I'm there is a lot to be said for these things.
Yeah. I need to talk to IWI. Wink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but it's just I've really been happy with this.
Yeah.
This was a surprise hit for me.
Same.
I didn't think I was going to hate it. I just thought it was going to be,
meh.
Hey, this is going to be a weird gun that we do a review of. I like this thing.
Yeah, to the point where, and he doesn't waste anything. He's very regimented with stuff. We were talking earlier today. You're like, dude, I might buy a second one.
I'm
just
really
to have
kind
a
of
second
debating
one.
it.
Well, the thing with that I didn't want one that took Stanag mags, because for me, and call me not a purist, but if I'm rocking a Kalashnikov type system,
you want the rock.
I want a rock and lock mag.
Cool.
Same.
And these are really, they are hard to get. They haven't imported a lot of them. And when I talked to IWI about it, he's like, hey, we happen to be bringing in those. And I was like, okay, then now you have my interest.
Yeah.
Because you can't convert the Stanag ones and take this away.
Yep.
And so you have a very plasticky looking system.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that point, if I'm running Stanag mags, I have 15 other platforms that take Stanag mags.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I'm totally with you. Anything else? Anything else we got?
think that's it.
Yeah.
Great gun, man. I had a great time shooting these today.
Yeah.
Like both
They run
calibers.
like sewing machines.
Yeah.
They very much do.
Took a chunk out of my thumb, but that was
Yeah.
my own mistake because of the charging handle.
Well, that's how we learn things.
That's how we
in life.
learn things, guys.
Sometimes you put a quarter in a light socket, and you're like, I'm not going to do that one again.
You speaking from experience?
Don't matter, does it? Don't matter.
Mine was a butter knife.
Well, that'll do it. That'll do the trick there, won't it?
I just think for guys who are interested in dabbling in Kalashnikov type rifles, you get more for your money
Yes.
at a higher quality price point out of these guns, and the aftermarket's surprising, and they address a lot of the complaints people have with AK type guns.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to the ammo thing. When you can get something like a 5.56, right now 7.62 by 39 and 5.45 is hard to get and expensive.
Yeah.
So if you already have an AR, you already have the ammo for this gun.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty big selling point.
Yeah.
And the ability to buy steel case. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
It's a winner. Yeah. It's a winner. You know.
Yeah. I need to talk to him.
Yeah. Thumbs up from the Syndicate and Bruiser crew here. So, all right, guys.
The
Well, I guess
Bruiser
that's
kid.
about it. Final thank you to FLP boys. We'll
Dude,
wrap it up.
FLP, Firearms Legal Protection. If you carry a pistol for concealed carry, you should probably have insurance, right? We drive cars, we have insurance. Same idea. The cool thing about FLP is whether you use a gun or a knife, a bat, a rock, Canon Able style, they're going to cover you as long as it's legally justified. They also have several different packages. Jake, you want to go over packages?
Yeah, there's the base one, which is basically for the base one. That's basically
For basic bitches.
For you're covered in your state. Then there's the mid-tier one that is for basically you're good in all 50 states. And then there's the family one for those of you people that are into the family kind of dynamic, if that's your thing.
I have loved ones.
Yeah, you know, and for those of us who just like fucking rock and roll party, staying bachelor, then like just get the one where you travel, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's code. It's 1911. It saves you like about a third off the service, so really good prices on those.
Which
Check
is
those
actually a
out.
good chunk of money.
It is actually. They wind up being about like $10 a month. When
Do you
break it
have
down.
a firearms carry insurance
Yes, I do.
with FLP?
Son of a
We're going to change
bitch.
that, you son of a bitch.
Go kick your ass behind the dumpster over there is what we're gonna go do.
Right on. Thank you, guys.
See you soon.
Yep.